the cloud. Now it's being recorded. Okay. All right, beautiful people. So again, my name is Allison. We know why we're here. We're together on Valentine's Day to help you to not be with me again on Valentine's Day. Or I mean, you could just casually, because you like me, you could be around, but then you'll have other plans and more exciting things to do than to listen to me talk. I do have some plans, i.e. the makeup, but my reservations are for much later in the evening, not my choice. I like to go to sleep early. But this is what happens when you wait till the last minute to plan stuff. So you get what you get, okay? If you will be in and out, it's a-okay. If you have to go, if you got to use the bathroom, if you got to do whatever, we do have one of my virtual assistants, Shirley, in here, so she will let you back in. I'm going to try to finish presenting around 6:45, and then I'll have about 15 minutes for Q&A. You can ask me anything you want in regards to dating, relationships, or my personal life in regards to dating and relationships, okay? So I am here to support you for our Valentine's Day edition. Let us jump in, okay? So I first want to do a check-in with you. If you guys can go ahead and write in the chat. I want to know how you are feeling. Is anybody here having a feeling of that you're never going to be fulfilled, you're not ever going to find that partnership, especially this day? Like, this is a pressure-full day. If you're dreading dating again, maybe you want to put a 1 if you're afraid that you'll never find fulfillment. Put that in the chat. A 2 if you're dreading just going through the dating process, like you just hate dating, you hate having to start all over in the small talk, you hate the dating apps, you hate going out, it's just right? And maybe you want to put a 3 in the chat if you are concerned that the dating pool is non-existent, like it's just full of trash, men or women, just full of trash, and you are just like, I don't want to get through. So go ahead. A 1 if you're concerned that you'll never find the partnership. So you don't have a problem with dating. You think that there's enough people in the pool, but you're just the unlucky camper. A 2 if you're dreading the dating process, and a 3, and it can be a combination of all if you want. A 3 if you feel like the dating pool is non-existent, there just aren't appropriate suitors, all right? So let's cover what we're going to discuss this evening. So the first thing we're going to talk about is my process. What do I do? How do I help people to find the partner they deserve? We're going to talk about how to self-reflect on some of the missteps that you may have made in the past so that you don't make those mistakes again. We're going to talk about how to build yourself up so that you are the catch versus you trying to do the catching. We're also going to talk about how to sit down and allow love to come back into your life. You have to be willing to drop those guards that many of us have. And then literally, how do you find him or her? And then next steps. So guys, you know me. I hope you've been following me for a little bit. You're on my email list. You're on my text list. You know, my name is Allison. I have 10 years of counseling experience. I don't know if this might make year 11, but a decade nonetheless. I have a master's degree in mental health counseling. I'm a certified dating and relationship coach. And I'm happily married, right? This slide used to say newlywed, but I'm no longer a newlywed. I'm a year and a half in, okay? But it's not only about my own personal successes, right? Because someone might say, oh, well, Allison, you're pretty. True. They say, Allison, you're smart. True. They may say, Allison, you're nice. Questionable. But maybe it's you. You're just lucky. You just found the right guy at the right time and it's you. But it's not only me, right? So if it just ended at me, I would say I need to shut my mouth and I can't offer you any advice. But it doesn't just end with me. I also have my clients who have been successful, right? So I have clients who have done a session with me and they're able to figure out what's going wrong and what's just not meshing in regards to their dating. I have people who do full-on programs with me, group, one-on-one, and then once we finish, they found success. Now, I'm not going to say every single human being's been successful, and that's for a couple of reasons, right? Like, everyone goes to school doesn't mean everyone graduates. Like, there has to be some effort on the other person's part to do the work. And then secondly, I've been in the game for a year and a half, so there's still a lot of things that are just looming, right? A lot of things that are pending. So time will tell. So this is what I need you guys to do, right? I know some of you may just be listening in passing. Maybe you're cooking, maybe you're driving, but something I need you to do is take action. If you know me personally, I have a couple of personal friends on here. You know that I hate inaction. Like, you need to take action, whatever action looks like to you, okay? So I want you to go ahead in the chat. And if you promise that if what you find that I have to say is valuable, that you are going to take action, I want you to raise your hand. Like, put a hand raise in the chat. If you think that what I have to say is valuable and you will actually take action and not just say, yo, Alison is right, but then not doing anything about it. I don't like those type of people. I need you to take action. So please help us out. Put an emoji, hand raise, thumbs up that you are going to take action. You're going to do something. Again, assuming that you even agree. If you disagree, then you disagree. But if you agree, I need you to do something about it. Okay? So let's talk about why now. All right. So if I'm talking to my ladies specifically, if you desire children, all women don't desire children. But if you desire children, now is the time, because biology is not on your side. And I hate to be a part of the machine that adds the additional pressure, but fact is fact, true is true, biology is biology, science is science, Mother Nature is Mother Nature. And if you desire children, and if you desire children to be born and raised in a fulfilling relationship, a healthy, loving relationship between their parents, if you desire those children to be born in wedlock, then now is the time for you to take action, okay? And again, this is also simple. New relationships are starting every day, right? So if we're complaining about a pool that's shrinking, you're right. It is. Now, there are also new people being added to the pool, right? Relationships end. It doesn't mean that anyone's a bad person. People get divorced. Doesn't mean someone's a bad person. So there are new people being added to the pool, but still, time is of the essence. And so, especially for my ladies who complain all of the good men are married or gay, every day that passes, you're making that even more true. So it's time to take action. Okay. Why else? You are looking for some level of reliability. You want somebody who can dig out your car when it snows. You want someone that you can call if you get a flat. You want someone that you can celebrate your promotions with, right? That can wine and dine you, especially tonight, or bring you some flowers or bring you some chocolates, or that you could wine or dine, right? So we're looking for reliability. And we also have a desire, if you're one of my people, right? If you follow me, you're on my email list, you're on my text list, you have a desire to build an empire. You want to be able to have generational wealth that you can pass on to your children. You don't want your children getting it from the mud. You want them to get it from the garden based on the seeds that you have sown. And now, could you do it on your own? Sure, right? Like, you have the capability of building an empire on your own and having generational wealth, but it's going to cost you more financially and cost you more in time. It's just easier to have a partner and to have someone that you can bounce ideas off of, who can do half of the work at minimum to get to both of your end goals. Okay. So this training is for you. I want you to stick around if these things apply to you. If you're looking for a committed relationship, this is for you. If you're looking to learn how to date so that you can be the next Simon on Tinder swindler, then this is not for you, okay? If you tend to self-sabotage your relationship, so you have no problem with dating, you enjoy dating, you find men, you find women, you have a good time, and then as soon as things are going well, you dip, this is for you, because you're a part of the toxicity, okay? If you tend to date the same toxic types, you are bombarded with red flags that everybody else sees, but you don't see, this training is for you. If you are afraid to love again, this training is for you. But more importantly, most importantly, if you are ready to do some work, this idea that love is just going to fall into your lap, it is in your best interest to remove this foolishness from your head. It does not work like that. We are not Cinderella. Even Cinderella had to work, right? But we are not a Disney princess. We're not Disney princes. Nothing has ever just, at least for me, have ever just fallen into my lap. You have to be willing to do some level of work. You have to be willing to put yourself out there in some form or fashion. You have to be willing to be reflective and honest about who you are and the mistakes that you've made, and how you are also accountable for the situation that you're in now, right? Like, there is some level of work that needs to be done. And think about it, like, would you really want anything that didn't require any work? Like, that's very questionable to me, right? Like, if something just fell into my lap, who sent you? What is this? I want to know that I worked for it, because then I feel more confident about the ability to keep it. Okay. So by the end of this training, I want you to be able to analyze your own personal shortcomings in your relationships or in your past relationships, brainstorm an action plan as to how you will make yourself more desirable and repel unqualified partners. It did not say bad people. It did not say that all men ain't ish and all women ain't ish and they all gold diggers and they all want to have sex with you. It's just somebody who's not an appropriate match for you. Doesn't mean they're bad people, okay? And then lastly, I want you to be able to gain the confidence in your ability to find the partner that you deserve. So many of you, if you're still on this call, right? You want a loving, fulfilling partnership and you deserve it. So I need you to believe that first. If you don't believe that you are deserving of a loving, fulfilling partnership, then it will not happen for you. That is the nature of the game, right? I am not a sports buff, but I would say something like, if Jordan didn't believe that he was the best player of all time and deserved to win all the championships, then he would not get up, he would not work out, he would not go to practice. He would never become the Michael Jordan that we know, because if he doesn't believe he has the ability, then why would he ever put in the work in order to be successful? Right? Do you understand that logic? So if you can follow that logic when it comes to sports, I need you to follow the same logic when it comes to your romantic life. If you don't believe that you are deserving, then by default, you're right, you're not. It will never happen for you, right? And you're not asking for too much. But you have some fears, as many of us do. So let's cover them so that we're not ignoring them. So some of you say, I'm never going to find somebody who's equally yoked. I'm worth all this money. I do so well for myself financially. I'm the best Christian of all time. Like, I'm never going to find somebody who's equally yoked. And I'll even say probably the elephant in the room. If you're a Black woman interested exclusively in Black men, a lot of the conversation is that a lot of Black women are out earning Black men. So how am I going to find somebody who's equally yoked, right? Some of you talk about the dating scene is just too rough. It's just too difficult. There aren't enough good people out there and you're afraid to open up again. Those are your fears, generally speaking, right? You have a fear that you're never going to have a family. So if you're 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, and you want to have children, you're having that fear that you're never going to even find a partner to have the family that you desire. You're afraid that you're going to be ostracized. You're always on the outside looking in. You're always the third wheel, right? You're the only one who doesn't have a man. You're the only one who doesn't have a woman. You're the only one who doesn't have kids. And then one of our biggest fears is that we'll die alone. We won't have a partner next to us, or we won't have children to care for us at the end. Okay? And these are some of the myths that many of you have. Some of your myths is that this thing is luck. Like, love just falls into your lap. Oh, Alison, you're just so lucky. Or such and such is just so lucky, right? Or there's some myths, especially, again, elephant in the room, the struggle love in the Black community, that you have to go through some tough time in order to prove that you're worthy enough to deserve this partnership, right? So I got to stick it in. I got to stick by him through thick and thin. He's broke. He's in jail. He lives with his mama in the basement. Like, I got to go through this now because for sure it'll get better later once I am steadfast. This is not the truth, guys. Let's talk about the truth. So the truth is that there is methodology behind dating. The truth is that you can find the partner you deserve. The truth is that there are ways that you can minimalize, not remove, but minimalize the pain, the annoyance of dating in order to get to the partner you deserve. And so I've created this term called the Sss Approach. This is the approach that I use with my 6-month-long clients. This is how I help people to learn how to navigate the dating scene in 2022, the Sss Approach. Let's talk about it. So the Sss Approach is self-reflection. The first thing is we have to be honest about the mistakes that we've made in the past. We have to be honest about who we are and some of the undesirable traits that make it difficult to date us. Not always talking about why things are so difficult to date out there, because here's a truth that you may not like. You feel like some of you might feel like the dating pool sucks because you keep attracting all of these trash people. Maybe you keep attracting all these trash people because the good ones see you, don't like your behavior, and they keep it moving, right? Like, maybe they have the insight to say, she's broken, she's heartbroken, she's dead broke, He is a misogynist who wants to use women to be like his second mama, to take care of him and feed him and clothe him like he's a damn baby. He's a megalomaniac. Like, maybe they're seeing some of the behaviors in you that are undesirable, and so those good ones are walking right past you and you're not even seeing them. But it's always everybody else. So we have to self-reflect on what are some of the behaviors that are undesirable about us, so we can work on becoming the best version of ourselves for ourselves, and then also the best version of ourselves for everyone else who's in our life, including our next mate, right? We need to step up, and we need to start working on and figuring out how exactly can I change those undesirable behaviors. So the first thing is being honest and identifying what they are. And I'll share what my number one was in a minute. But stepping up and becoming better versions of ourselves, and then chilling, like just chill, sit back, allow love to come back to you. When you're overly aggressive and forceful, right? When you're Kanye and you're sending a truck over to Kim's house with a whole bed of roses, it's over the top, right? It's giving obsessive. You got to chill out. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't put yourself out there, but you're also not chasing after anybody either, man or woman, okay? So I'll tell you a little bit about my personal story so that you guys know that I'm not just here judging the crap out of y'all and I'm just some perfect being, right? I'm still not a perfect being, even though I've done the work, right? Oh, let me go back because that's like the last part. So my story is, before I met my husband, handsome guy that's on the next slide, I was dating this guy for about 4 years, and he was either unwilling or unable to take what I deemed as next steps, right? So what I thought was appropriate next steps would be marriage, children, engagement, a bank account, a property, like something of some kind of investment that we had together that showed me that you were ready to commit beyond me just being your girlfriend. Now, he was, again, either unwilling or unable. I don't know which one, and I don't care because it really doesn't matter. All I know is that I didn't get what I wanted, right? Now, I had to also be honest with myself. Now, and I don't know if this is why I don't talk to him. I don't believe in talking to exes. Goodbye, right? But I had to be self-reflective and say, well, now that I've ended this relationship because things are not going in a direction which I feel like is appropriate in this time frame, then what were some of the things that are undesirable about me, or may have been seen as undesirable about me in that relationship, so I don't bring that crapola into my next relationship. And one of my issues is that I was disgustingly argumentative. And I'm sure that you can gather that that is not a far cry from how I present to you right now, right? Like, I'm sure you can imagine, I can see Alison being argumentative. So everything has to be an argument. Everything is an issue. I don't know how to let things go. Like, we don't have to fight all the time. You can let certain things go. Everything doesn't have to be a battle. Who wants to come home to a battle every single day? And that was me, right? I was unhappy in my work for the most part. And then as the relationship developed, I was unhappy in the status or the development of the relationship. And so everything was an argument. Who wants to be around that? Again, I don't know if that's his reasoning, and I don't care, but I know that that was a problem for me. I know that. I know that my friends, even probably to this day, still feel like they have to walk around on eggshells because they don't know how Alison is going to respond. And that's not cool, right? Nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody where they don't know how to maneuver. They don't know what version of you you're going to get, nasty or not. I worked on that. Then I started dating again, and I reunited with an ex. So Andrew Wellington, this handsome gentleman right here, I actually dated him when I was 18. And then we reconnected on Facebook, social media. So when y'all complain and say that there are no good guys out there and using the internet, because guess what? Facebook, Instagram, and every other TikTok and all that other kind of stuff, when you meet people, that's still using the internet to date. I may have not been on a dating app, but it's still online dating. I met him again, like we reunited online many years later, dated again. I did my clarifying questions, which we're about to get to assess whether or not he was a good match. He was a good match again, right? And our breakup was because we were kids and being stupid, not because of anything serious. And look at us. He's so good looking. Okay. So I want you to know, especially for the ladies who are in the room, I want you to know that you have a choice. A lot of us have been taught or socialized, especially with all this stupid talk on the internets, with the modern woman and blah, 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 that if you choose your education, or if you have chosen education, you have chosen career, then that means that you will not be in a position to have a partner. Yes, you can have it all. Now, it doesn't mean that you may have to scale back a little. You may have to, because in practicality, if you want children and you want to raise them appropriately, I'm assuming you're going to want to be at all the football games. I'm assuming you want to do some gymnastics classes. I'm assuming you want to do mommy and me. So yes, you will have to scale back a bit, but it doesn't mean that you have to give it up in its entirety. You can balance it and you can have it all, especially with the right partner. So let me tell y'all about one of my clients. Okay. So this person, this woman, she always was going after the Model-esque guy, i.e. this hunky man on the slides, right? I don't like using the term out of her league, but it's the best way to describe this, right? She always wanted the Model-esque. She always wanted like literally guys that you might see on television, like the most handsome, those beautiful, like beautiful men, right? And there's nothing wrong with having a standard of wanting someone who's good looking, but we also need to be practical about that. And we also need to be practical about how you present. So if you say that you want the most handsome, beautiful, godlike man, then you need to also present like a goddess, right? And this wasn't her case. So we had to go through the SSS approach together. Do some self-reflection. First of all, why are we only skin deep? Like, when these looks fade, then what? Why are you constantly chasing after this like beautiful type of man, right? What are some of the insecurities that you are trying to combat? Or is this a way for you to puff up your chest to feel like you must be beautiful if you're able to bag these types of guys? Like, what's going on there emotionally, right? Once we identify that, then there needs to be some work on changing the behavior, because you keep getting played by these types of guys. That's what we talked about, the cycle of dating the same people over and over again. And then you're surprised at the result. You keep dating these model guys, these guys who are trying to break through on Broadway or whatever the hell it is. We're in New York City, right? So you need to change this behavior. And then you need to chill out. Stop chasing. Stop doing the chasing and allow gentlemen to come up to you as well. No shame in women approaching men, but allow them to come up to you and engage with you. Stop chasing after people, right? And so we had to decide, what are the priorities? And that's where we came up with our list of non-negotiables. So if you've heard me ever talk before, I try to mention it every time I go live. You have to have a list of what your non-negotiables are. What are your priorities? What are your must-haves? Now, again, I'm not saying that you have to date a woman or a man who's unattractive, but does he have to be Idris? Does he have to be Denzel in the 90s? Like, is that a must in order for your relationship to be fulfilling, right? Does he have to be 6'3"? What about him being 6'3"? Seriously, what about him being 6'3" is going to make your relationship any better? There's a man who is 6'3". Is he inclined to have a more loving heart? Does he tend to be more affectionate? He's going to slap your butt every time you walk past. What is it about a woman with a big butt that's really going to make your relationship any more successful? These are the things that we have to prioritize. We're too old for this stuff, right? This shallow stuff. So we have to prioritize what are the most important things our partner must have in order for us to date them. Okay. So that's the self-reflection piece. What are some of the things about me that I need to work on to become a better version of myself? Putting a word to it, writing it on paper, getting clear on what are some of the things that are undesirable about me. Then I need to, and in this particular client, one of her things was that she wanted to make a better impression. Like, you want to approach these type of guys, but you're not putting your best foot forward. So one of the things we worked out with her was making an effort to make a better first impression. She cleared up her skin. She got braces. Like, she was just feeling better about herself. So instead of using her ability to bag a handsome guy to make her feel confident, she instead worked on herself so that she could be more confident. That's the self-reflection that we're talking about here, guys. And then she began to gleam with confidence. Okay? Sitting back, you got to sit down. You got to chill. Like, we have to chill out. I know this is Valentine's Day. I know that the pressures are real, but going back to an ex is not going to help your situation unless you have proof that this person has changed. Like, chasing after someone who has clearly distanced themselves, clearly ghosted you, is not going to help your circumstance. You're only going to cause more chaos in your life if you continue to chase. We do not chase. This does not mean that you don't go and greet. It does not mean that you don't introduce. It does mean that you don't say hello. You do not chase after folks, okay? But I know you guys are still questioning some stuff, so let's get through it. Let's stop ignoring, right? You're still saying, oh, Alison, that sounds good, but there just aren't a lot of guys, aren't a lot of girls out there. I just don't have it in me to start over. Oh my God. And I don't have control over my love life. Like, it's not only me, it's him too, it's her too. No, you absolutely have control over your love life, okay? You doubt that you have it in you. Yes, you do have it in you. You hear, you're breathing, you're trying, right? You're doubting those family goals again. Will I ever be able to have children? Will I ever find someone? Those myths are still creeping in. Alison, that sound good, but I don't have control over my life and I don't have time for this. Yes, you do. You're about to make me curse. You BSing. Yes, you do have time, okay? Or something must be wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. Now, there's room for improvement for everybody, but there is nothing wrong with you. This is the truth again. I'm bringing you back to the truth. You can craft the life that you want. You have the ability to create the life that you want. The question is, are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to get a little uncomfortable in order to get those things? Or are you going to sit on your behind and complain all day about why your life isn't the way that you want? I'm not only talking about relationships, I'm talking about money, I'm talking about business, I'm talking about friendships. You have the ability to manifest your life. And manifestation is not crystals and praying to the moon. It's about putting in the work that is necessary in order to get your goals established. You do have control. You do have the time. You here with me. You got the time. You scrolling on Instagram, you have the time, and nothing is wrong with you, okay? Let me tell you about another client that I had. She's a doctor, but she's not this woman. I would never do that unless the person gave me permission. So doctor, beautiful, doing well for herself financially, obviously, but this is her issue. She keeps choosing people who are unwilling to commit over and over and over and over. Emphasis on choosing. Right? This is not something that's bestowed upon. Choosing. She is choosing people based on their potential and not the reality. When you are dating, you need to date someone based on where they are right now, not where you foresee them to be. So if you say to yourself, I'm not dating anybody who has a roommate, that's your boundary, and that's fine, especially depending on how old you are and what city you live in, right? Then it's not going to be, oh, well, he has a roommate, but you know, he has a budding career. So no, the reality is the reality. This is where he is right now. This is where she is right now. We're not dating people on where we potentially see them. We're dating them based on who they are right now. And if they grow and develop to be better, quote unquote, better or more established or what have you people, then great. But we cannot date people based on potential because you're wasting your own time and that's your choice. Stop doing that, right? This particular client, the doctor, she kept choosing projects, people that she can fix up. Right? I guess that's the healing in her and her wanting to help people and then be mad when they were a hot mess express. And then she hated the idea of starting over. So because she hated the idea of starting over, she would deal with people way longer than what she should. What did we do? We start erasing some of those mistakes that she's making. How do we do it? Right? So the first thing that I did with her, I had to challenge some of her belief systems. These ideas I hate. I hate going on dating apps. I hate going out. Well, she gonna meet people. You have to start challenging your belief system. There are no good guys out there. Well, if that's the case, then give up. Get some cats. Throw yourself in your work if that's what you believe. But you can't be saying these things. You can't be saying these things, right? Over and over and over again, and then start thinking that your reality is going to be different. What are some of your preconceived notions that are negatively impacting your life? I had a client that said, oh, I gotta live on my own before I can live with somebody else. Who said that? Where that at? What rule that is? I never seen that rule before. Yes, maybe you live with your parents and then you're dating and you feel like you're ready to move on and move in and there's no that I have to stop what I'm doing right now. I cannot date because I didn't have a year's experience living my own. Who said that? We're just making up rules, right? We're making up things. Men are intimidated by me. Are they intimidated by you or do you intimidate, right? Are you aggressive? Do you lead with your financial successes or your business or educational, what's the term I'm looking for? Stuff, right? Like we got to be honest here. Or is it that they're intimidated? Like how much of this is the truth? And how much of it do you say over and over again to yourself and now you believe it because it's an easier truth than saying, you know what, I do lead with my successes. Instead of leading with my personality, I start talking about what I do in this Fortune 500 company and what car I have and how many properties I own. And then you're surprised that they're intimidated, right? Not that they should be, but this is the truth. The next thing I do with my clients is that we have to establish relationship goals. So when I'm working with my clients, before we even start session one, they have pre-homework. And the pre-homework is, what are your relationship goals? Notice that that's not the same thing as your non-negotiables. So your relationship goals are, what does the relationship look like? He and I are going to be married. We're going to have 2.5 children. We're going to live in Long Island, and I'm going to be a soccer mom. I'm going to work from home. Our relationship is going to be full of travel. Our relationship is going to be full of family events and creating our own traditions. That's the relationship. It's going to be loving. It's going to be affectionate. It's going to be blah, blah, blah. Whatever your priorities and morals and values are. The non-negotiables are going to be what that person is on paper, their behavior, their character. So this person is hardworking. This person is affectionate. This person is attractive. This person is whatever. So who they are is the resume. The relationship goal is the actual job responsibilities. Okay, if that makes sense. Those are two different things. And what I tell folks, I want you to write it down every night. In my group, we write it down every night for 8 weeks. Every night. Because I want it to become a part of your being. I want you to be able to remember it and know it and have full clarity, so that when you start meeting people who don't fit the bill, it's very easy to dismiss them, because it's like, oh no, he doesn't fit my non-negotiables. Oh no, she doesn't want the same relationship goals that I have, so clearly this is not going to work. I want generational wealth. She wants to retire at her good city job and not invest in anything. It won't work. Okay, so get clear on that and write it down every night. So again, the relationship goals, how you envision your life with your partner. It does not describe the person themselves. Excuse me. And the non-negotiable describes the person's behavior, character. And please note that I said it doesn't describe their salary. This 6-figure foolishness, money comes and goes. If you want to say they're hardworking, then fine. If you want to say that they're passionate about their work, fine. But a salary in itself means nothing. Somebody can make $80,000. Somebody else makes $300,000, and the $300,000 they dead broke because they're living beyond their means. Stop with this six salary foolishness. It will literally get you nowhere. Okay? How do you optimize your dating profile? So we've done a lot of the mental work. We've done a lot of the reflection. We know where we've gone wrong. We're working on better versions of ourselves. We're undoing some of these preconceived notions that do us no good, right? Now is the practicality. How do I optimize my dating profile? Yes, I said dating profile, get over it. It's 2022. If you're not using a dating app, then you're taking away 50% of your opportunity to meet somebody. And unless y'all want to be with me again on Valentine's Day, I'm telling you, you need to get on the right profiles. Okay, I have a masterclass. It's not really a plug, but I have a masterclass that's 3 hours. That's all about dating. I think it's on sale right now for $37. When you're done, if you want, you can click on it. If not, it's A-okay. But we're going to do the quick review right now. How do you optimize your dating profile? The first thing is, again, you need clarity on what you're looking for in a partner. This is before you download anything, before you upload a photo, before you answer a prompt. If you don't know what you want in somebody, then don't even bother to go shopping for it. That's like going to the supermarket with no shopping list. You're just going to end up buying everything, and then you're mad when you get to the register. And then when you get home, you forgot all the important stuff, the non-negotiables, the bread, the milk, the egg, the cheese, right? So get clear on what you want first. Next, when it comes to the actual profile, you need clear photos of you and only you. Not your mama, not your sister, not your friends, okay? Part 2. Your bio, real simple, real easy, okay? You're gonna have your name. Hi, my name is Allison. Something you like to do. I am a cheerleading coach for a community program. And the reason I'm on this app is because I'm looking for a long-term committed relationship that can potentially lead to marriage. You can have that, you're welcome. Yes, I use the word marriage. Yes, if they don't like it, then they're gonna run, good. I didn't say I was gonna marry you. I said I believe in marriage and this is what I want for myself. Now, time will tell, dating will tell, the process will tell whether or not that person is an appropriate match for me. If you're too scared to use the word marriage, you can say, hi, my name is Allison. I am a cheerleading coach for a community team here in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm on this app because I'm looking for a long-term committed relationship. But if you ain't writing that, you're setting yourself up to get with one of those people who want to go with the flow, and they're going to flow you right back to February 14, 2023. You're going to be right back with me here. So you got to get serious and you got to get clear. It doesn't mean that you're being nasty. You're not writing, if you're an F-boy, then don't. If you're going to send me dick pics, then don't. That's not what we're here for. You're not being negative. Nobody wants to be with a negative Nathan. Nobody wants to be with a negative Nancy. Your name, something special about you, and why you're on this app. And bonus, if you are on an app that has prompts like Bumble, they have like those drop down things that you get to choose what you want to say, what you want to share. I have created this thing that I like to call the prompt sandwich. You're going to choose 3 prompts because people don't tend to read. I know that. Don't tell me that. Y'all don't read neither. Y'all don't read neither. Men, women, children, nobody reads. So what? You're going to give a little information for those who do read, right? That prompt sandwich is going to look like this. You're going to choose something soft and easy, your first one. Something laughable, something comedic, nothing too heavy. If you're a woman, something feminine, something light. Your favorite television show that you can quote any day of the week is Martin, whatever, right? That's your soft. Then it's hard. Your second prompt is going to go straight forward. It's going to be about romance. It's going to be clear. You're going to reiterate again what you're here for. You're going to choose the prompt that allows you to reiterate what you're here for. You're going to say something again about long-term committed relationship. You're going to say something again about building a family. You're going to say something again about wanting marriage. Again, you're going to make this clear because you want to give whoever reads your profile the opportunity to know, oh, she's doing too much and I'm not interested. Good. Goodbye, sir. Right? Then you end again, soft. That's the prompt sandwich. Soft, hard, soft. Okay? In person. Well, Alice, I'm not doing the dating apps. I don't care what you say. You're the expert. You have 10 years experience. You're the marriage whisperer. You have engagements and weddings and babies under your belt, but I'm not going to listen to you because I'm hard-headed. And so I'm not doing dating apps. Okay, in-person interactions, which you should be doing both, but in-person interactions. In order for that to happen, you got to go out. It was 31 degrees in New York today. It's mad cold. I have a client in Chicago. It was like -10. You got to go out. So if you only want to do in person, A-okay. Are you prepared to go out every weekend, rain, sleet, snow, or hail? You got to do it. You have to keep your group small. And when I say, I shouldn't even use the word group, I should change that. A pairing. That means you're going out with one person, either by yourself, if you feel safe. I watch too much Law and Order SVU. I'm not going out by myself ever. I'm always going to have at least one friend, but you cannot go out with large groups and then you're surprised when men don't approach you. Can't be. Because why would they approach a football team? So now they got to worry about the ladies laughing when he approaches. Then he has to worry about busting through the line of defense in order to get to the quarterback, which is you, right? Then he's like, it's ladies' night. We're not doing that. You got to buy all of us drinks if you want to talk to my friend. No. Why would he do that if there's 2 ladies that's right down the bar and he could just talk to them? Easy peasy. We got to be practical. No groups. If you're going out in groups, it's cool. You're just not going out for in-person interactions with men or women. You're going out for ladies' night, and that's cool. Okay, but that's not this. Monitor your nonverbals. And this is especially hard for my people who's from New York, because I know our face is just like almost naturally nasty. But you have to be smiling. You have to be open. Your chest should be out and up and puffed up. If your arms are crossed, if you're giving folks the impression that you're not interested, you don't want to be spoken to. If you're on the phone or you have headphones in, you could be texting. On the phone and headphones in, you're giving folks the impression that you don't want to be approached, and so you won't be approached. And you got to slow down. And again, for people who are in cities, it's a little bit tougher. But if you look like you're in a rush, anybody with basic social cues will say, she's in a rush. I don't want to bother her. I'm going to let her go. Maybe I'll see her again. You got to slow down. Okay. Part 2, do some of the approaching, ladies. It's not all their responsibility. It's not all of their responsibility. Maybe they just didn't see you. Maybe it was a dark room. Maybe they're a little nervous. Walk up to them and you can say hello, okay? When you're approached, you make it short and sweet. We're not there all day and all night. You get a vibe for the person. Perhaps you can exchange numbers. They can ask, you can ask. You can exchange Instagram accounts if you feel more comfortable doing that, whatever you like, but make it short and sweet. Okay, so you have some options here. So let's talk about what your next steps are, and let's talk about what your options are. One option is you can run with the information I've just provided. You can continue to listen to me, be on the email list. It's all good in the hood, and work it out on your own. And if you're successful, great. Or you can work with me. Okay, so I'm going to take this the next couple of minutes to break that down. And then I'm going to take your questions about any and everything that we've covered this evening. So I have some testimonials here of folks who haven't been on a date in over a year and a half, and they're finally dating people who are seemingly appropriate. It is a process. You're not going to find Mr. Right or Mrs. Right the first time out, but they're finally having fun again, okay? I want to give a huge shout out to Alison. This experience and journey has been lit. Today's date, he wanted to go early to enjoy the sun and the nice weather. We went to brunch at Suede. It's a restaurant in Brooklyn, and we walked across the Brooklyn Bridge. So having fun, going on dates, okay? This client, this is one of my favorites. 5 weeks in, I was going on dates with quality men that I vetted and met through Match. And now I'm exclusively dating a great guy. I'm on our third date. He flew me out to Miami, a 1-day trip with no pressure. I hope y'all picking up when she's saying no pressure. 1 day means there's no overnight. That means there's no bed. Okay? Blah, 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 blah. Okay? All these testimonials are also on my Instagram. You can check out all of them. Okay? So what is the program that I offer? The name of the program that I offer is called The Partner You Deserve. I offer it in both group and one-on-one, okay? But the group is gonna be probably the most efficient for most people. What's the breakdown? So out of the 6 months, we have 8 weeks where we meet once a week via Zoom for about an hour, all right? And what do we do on these sessions? We go through the SSS approach, the approach that I went through with you guys earlier. I help you to clarify exactly what you want in a mate so that you can find the partner that you deserve. You first have to be clear. I need to know where Six Flags is before I'm gonna get in my car and start driving. Like, I need direction, I need clarity, right? So you have to first be clear about what you want out of a partner. From there, I'm gonna help you reflect on where you went wrong so you don't make the same mistakes over and over again, because next time you meet the right guy, but you're making those mistakes, and then guess what? He's gonna move on because he's a good guy. There are good guys, there are good girls. We're just not meeting them, or something is going wrong that we need to fix and work on, okay? I help you to create and optimize your dating profile. So if you work with me, yes, you have to be on at least 2 dating apps. I help you to create it. I give you the prompt sandwich. I tell you what to write. I tell you what photos are right. I tell you what order to put the photos in. I give you help on how to respond to those inquiries that you get, who to talk to, who not to talk to, what to say, what not to say, and how to master in-person dating, even if you consider yourself an introvert. That makes it even more difficult for you to go out and socialize. Okay. I also help you build confidence so you feel prepared as you begin dating again. And now you're dating with intention and you're dating with focus. The last piece is, I don't want to just leave you on, you know how to date, but then how do you build a healthy relationship? I am a certified dating and relationship coach. I do both. So throughout the program, I also make sure that you know how to build the foundation for a healthy relationship moving forward. Okay. So my program, my content, whether you sign in, sign out or not, is not for people who aren't interested in dating one person and being in a committed relationship. If you're not interested in being honest about facing your fears and your old belief system, it's not for you. If you are not ready to take accountability for how your life turns out, because it's everybody else and it's never you, we ain't a good match, right? And if you think that all men or all women ain't ish, then it won't work, like we talked about with the Jordan example, right? Because you don't believe that there's anyone out there. But my calendar is open. So how do you get access to me if you think the program's a good fit? You have to book a discovery call, right? It's actually not free anymore. It's $1, a whopping $1. But you book a discovery call. So you can do that by going to my website, bookalison.com, scroll down to discovery call. There is a form that you would fill out. You do have to apply to be a part of the program. We get on the phone. I talk to you about what the program's all about. I make sure that you're a good fit. You ask me questions to make sure I'm a good fit. And then we move forward. We jump right into the program. We start getting results ASAP, okay? Or you could just go to my Instagram and click on the link in my bio, which is bookalison.com. Same thing. Scroll, go to discovery call, book the call. My calendar is open through Sunday. All right. So I do want to thank you for your time. I hope that our little date together was informative. I hope I wasn't too rough. I am a little hungry. And a little tired, but it's really all because I want what's best for you. And so this is why I hope I'm not coming across too strong, but it's because I really want you guys to listen. I want you to take action. I want you to have the success that you want out of your life. So we have about 15 minutes together. I'm going to stop sharing. And I do ask that you guys unmute to ask your question. The reason is because I just been talking for 49 minutes and yeah, it's a little rough. So if you can unmute to ask your question, I would really appreciate it. And I would be happy to answer it for about the next 15 minutes or so. Maybe raise your hand first and then unmute. So Odessa has her hand raised, but I don't know if that was from earlier when you made the promise. So Odessa Babes, you still there? Do you have a question? Okay, that was from earlier. All right. Oh, Michaela. Michaela has her hand raised. Thank you, Michaela. What's your question, babes?
Okay, so sorry for my kids in the background, but does the program work like if you divorced or you have children? Like, what does that look like?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll start with the divorce piece. A lot of the folks who are in my programs are divorced, and that's why they work with me, because they've been off the scene for so long, right? They're like, what is this? What's going on here? Like, what's vetting? What questions do I have? Like, they're lost in the sauce because they've been in a committed relationship for so long. So for my divorcees, like, hell yeah. And especially for the people who also don't have a lot of just dating experience, right? I have a client, she just finished her doctoral degree. She's 35. She's had like one boyfriend. So absolutely for the people who are divorced or don't have the experience, and also for children. So the client that I mentioned before, the one who she's dating some guy, she got flew out, right, to Miami for that one day. She has 2 teenage girls. Now, of course, the vetting process is going to be more stringent because you allowing a person into your house versus allowing a person into your house when you have children, you just have to be so much more careful and ask the right questions and be more analytical. But many of my clients have children. And also one of my clients who's getting married on September 2nd, September 3rd in Virginia, she also has 2 children. So children, yes, there are people who are dating, who are getting results, and they have children. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is it GS?
Yes. Hi. Good evening. How is your program? Let me phrase that. Is your technique different for those who might be 50 years old and up?
So no, I have my oldest client that I've had is 54. And the only difference that we've had is that I had to do a little bit more research on what dating apps were an appropriate match. So I went through this very quickly, but there is research that needs to be done from the client and from me about which apps are most appropriate in your city, which apps are most appropriate for your age range and the age range of the people you're looking to date. And then also for race, because some people have preferences. They have like hard no's, like I only want to date Christian or I only want to date Black, right? So we need to do research on which apps are the most appropriate. That's the only slight difference, is that they took a little bit more work to find dating apps that are an appropriate match for someone who's a bit older.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. B?
Hi, I was going to ask if you have any recommendations on approaching men or just being more open to men approaching you.
Yes, so we're talking about approaching in person?
Yes.
So the recommendation would be, first of all, you should feel good about how you look. I would not approach a man if I'm not feeling good and confident about how I look that evening or that day or what have you, right? Because it's going to show in your conversation. It's just, I look good. I look good today, right? That's number one. And I actually really highly recommend that every time you step out, it has to be your best self. Like pretend like it's the first day of school and you laid out your first day of school outfit. Like that's how I want to feel every time I go out, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever. So feeling good about yourself is number one. So number two, it's a lot easier than we think, guys. Like it's literally walking up to the person and saying, hi, I'm Allison and you are, and engaging in conversation from there. If you could pick up on something from afar, if you notice cufflinks from afar, if you notice anything that you can kind of pick up on that you can use as a point of conversation, then great. The location itself, like, oh, I frequent this bar every Friday and this is the first time I've seen you. Are you new to the neighborhood? Engaging in conversation, normal average conversation. And then within 10 to probably less than that, but definitely between 10 to 15 minutes, you'll be able to assess whether or not he's like, see if you're attracted to him, if he's seemingly at least socially appropriate, you know what I mean? Like not socially awkward, not a weirdo, someone who's not overly aggressive, and whether or not you'd like to exchange numbers. So that's the you approaching them approaching you. So again, looking good, feeling good, smelling good, not being in large groups, either by yourself or with a friend, one person. That person should be a woman. If you're a woman looking for a man, that friend needs to be a woman. I don't care if, oh, this guy is clearly older than me, it's my dad. He's clearly younger than me, it's my little brother. No men whatsoever. If, oh, he's clearly, whatever clearly gay is, must be a woman that you're with, right? Because they're going to see a man, and if they have any respect, they're going to stay away from you. But you want to be either by yourself or with one woman. And in terms of being approachable, look good, smell good. And you want to smiling, chest open. You don't want crossed. You don't want to be on your phone. You don't want your headphones in. You don't want to be overly preoccupied.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. You mentioned that one of your clients used Match.com to, I think it was like a success.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a suggestion on which dating apps are the best?
So I get that question all the time, and unfortunately, I don't have a clear-cut answer for you because I'm going to go back to what I said before. So it requires research. Which apps are the most popular in your city? How old are you? What is the age range for those who are on those apps? If you care about religion, if you care about race, like there's no hard and fast answer to say which apps are the best apps, because what's good for somebody who's in San Francisco and 40 is not good for somebody who's in Miami and 25. It's not good for somebody who's in Montana that's 55. It's not good for somebody who only wants to date Black men. It's not good for somebody who's interested in Christians or Jews only. So there's no hard and fast answer. It requires some research.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Via? Via, are you there, honey? Okay, I'm gonna go to Jolisa.
Yes, I had a question regarding how do you feel about purposely waiting a certain amount of time to be intimate with whoever you're dating, or like waiting 8 dates or waiting 3 months or whatever?
I think that to have a hard and fast rule when you're dealing with humanity is probably not practical, right? Like you can say you have a 90-day rule and if you can stick to it, great. But there are going to be times where maybe you just need a little bit more time with that guy, right? I'll give an example. I had a client who was dating a trucker. 90 days might have made sense for somebody that she was seeing every week, because 90 days would have been 3 months times 4 dates. If, that's 12 times. But with a guy who's a trucker, she's hardly seeing him. And so she didn't feel comfortable taking those next steps with him, right? And so again, I know you guys probably appreciate like hard and fast rules, but you have to decide what's appropriate. If you want to create a boundary for yourself, which may even be up to engagement or marriage, and that's fine. But I wouldn't kick myself if I didn't necessarily follow that rule for every single person I've ever dated in my entire life. If you feel like you've done the appropriate assessment, this person seems like a good match for you, and you're ready to take that next step. I hope that helped.
Yes, it did.
Allie?
Hi. So I am on dating apps, and I feel like I do easily attract men, but after a while, I feel like they become a little distant and there's no real follow through. So when do you recommend just deading it off of a dating app and moving forward, as opposed to following up?
Sure. So my recommendation is that as you are conversing with these people, you want to transition off of the dating app as soon as possible. A dating app is just a digital bar or a digital club, right? It's an opportunity for you to meet people, but you're not supposed to stay and live in that club for weeks and days. You wouldn't stand at the bar drinking for months on end, right? Like you would say, nice to meet you at the bar, let's exchange numbers, and then you would transition that into your real life. So the technique that I tell my clients to use specifically is that I'm conversing with them in the app, and as soon as they give me any kind of like decent combo of something, I'm gonna say the following line: I would love to hear more about this. Here is my number. Yes, I'm giving my number out. Let's avoid the back and forth. Here is my number. Give me a call after 7. I'm normally free. So I'm going to so we're talking, how are you? How are you? I'm fine. Where you from? Like all that little BS talk. And then he's going to say something like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a detective for SVU. Wow. That seems like a really potentially overwhelming job. I would love to hear more about this. Here is my number. I'm normally free after 7. We're talking, and right, on the dating app, and they say, well, yeah, I'm a teacher, and midwinter break is next week, and I'm gonna go white water rafting for the first time. Wow, you're so adventurous. I would love to hear more about your trip. You get my point? So I'm gonna get off the app as soon as possible, because many times it's not that the convo is dying off because of the convo, but many times people just don't check the app every day. They don't check it frequently. So they check it once, and then 2 days later, they'll check again. I wanna get off the app ASAP. I wanna transition to real convo on a phone, a FaceTime. I like FaceTime because I wanna make sure you are you. A FaceTime, and then we can start potentially talking about going out, seeing if there's real chemistry, so on and so forth.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alyssa?
Hello, thank you so much for tonight. I enjoyed it. My question is, how was that experience coaching that client that was like almost 30 years old that had never been on dates before?
Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you this. So remember I mentioned that my coaching program is group, and I also offer it for one-on-one. So if I have someone who does not have any experience, the client that I was telling you guys about, 30, maybe 31 or 32, she was like, I don't know if the term is severely obese, but like extremely obese throughout her teenage years and 20s. And so she just never felt comfortable dating, period. She had the gastric bypass surgery in her late 20s. She began to lose the weight, work out. She built confidence, and she's like, okay, I'm 30 now. I've never had a boyfriend in my life. How do I function? And so what I recommended to her is that we did one-on-one sessions versus the group. And the reason is because I had to go back and practically teach the birds and the bees, right? Like, because when you have experience, there's something to say about experience. Like, you can kind of pick up some of the cues, some of the red flags. You just need me to help tweak things for 2022 and where you are in your life right now. But for someone who has no experience, like my other client who has the PhD, we had to do one-on-one because we had to start practically from scratch about like, this is how men think, this is how men function. So program the same, but it had to be one-on-one. The whole hour had to be dedicated to her. We couldn't share time with the group. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We have time for 2 more questions. We're going to take it from, is it Yordlin? And then Michelle is going to be the person to finish us out. So Yordlin.
Hi, Yudlin. So hi, Allison. My question is, what is your advice as far as consistency? And I asked this because there was a guy that I met in person, and we had a nice first conversation. We exchanged numbers, and we talked on the phone for a couple of hours, but it kind of fizzled out, and I tried to reach out, but he never called back. So it's what can you share as far as consistency with men, and just some clues to look out for?
Yeah, so if you've made it off the app, or you've made it off the in-person interaction, you're on the phone and the conversation fizzles, it could be a couple of things, right? It could have been something that you said or did that he didn't like, not to say you were wrong for saying or doing it. It could have been something where you talked about commitment or children or something serious, and he said, oh snap, this girl is for real, and I'm out. And that's fine. We want that. I want you to run. Please run, and please run early. I'd much rather you run now than run a year out, right? So it could be the conversation fizzled because it was something that you said or did. Again, not that you're the bad guy, but something that you said or did that turned them off. So good, run, goodbye. I'd appreciate a little message or something, but nonetheless, right? Or it could be life has slapped him in the face. He's lost his job. It's something or the other. Or it could be that maybe he's having multiple conversations with multiple women, as I recommend that everyone does, to conversations, dates, not sex necessarily. Let you grown, do what you want, but it doesn't have to be that. And then maybe something just connected with someone else that he met before or after you. I would not chase after it. I would do one check-in. hey, haven't heard from you, especially if it's been pretty consistent, like just make sure that this guy isn't dead or in a hospital somewhere. Hey, just making sure you're okay. No response, party done. That's it. Goodbye. It doesn't have to be a long paragraph. It doesn't have to be a full description. Like it's okay. It fizzled. Fizzled is okay. Once you know that you're doing your due diligence and being responsive, then there's something else and that's on him and you keep it moving.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Last question from Michelle.
Hi, thank you for tonight. I know there's no hard and fast of this, but when a man is pursuing, what are your words of recommendation in terms of a woman reciprocating? Like, I'm a giver and I think I tend to overgive. And so do you have any suggestions or thoughts on that?
What are you giving? Like gifts?
Lots of support.
Like support?
It can be gifts, lots of support, in business. If I see there's gaps, I'm doing more than being, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not cooking dinner sometimes, but I'm more of a, oh, I found this, I thought he might like it. Or I think that your business could be more lucrative if this, and then I have in the past offered to assist in that way before there's any commitment between me and the guy. So just wondering what your suggestions or correction is in that sort of situation.
So the first thing is that you're aware, right? So that's the first L, that's the self-reflection. I'm glad that you're aware. And then now it's the stepping up. So it's you making a conscious effort to say, I will not purchase gifts until we've been dating for 2 months. I will not offer unsolicited business advice. Like, you just have to make a choice that you're going to stop. If you need to write it down, and I really mean that. I don't mean that like in a slick way. Like, writing it down is so helpful because it helps to remind you about what boundaries you have to choose to create for yourself. So you choose what those boundaries look like. Like I said, no gifts for 2 months, no unsolicited business advice, no, whatever you choose those boundaries to be, you create them and write them down and remind yourself. And you're going to be less inclined to, you were just about to buy that item and then you remembered last night that you just promised yourself that you're not buying gifts until 2 months in. And you'll stop.
I love it. And just as a last parting comment, I think you're good for me because I think you're tough love.
Right? Emphasis on the love part. But yeah, tough love. Like, and it's the New Yorker in me, it's the Caribbean me. It's just, I like to be a straight shooter because I don't want anyone to ever invest in me, invest in themselves, and then feel like they didn't get what they wanted. So I just want to make sure things are super clear, even though sometimes it can be a little hurtful. Like, who wants to think that they are a part of the problem, but you are, and it's okay. And let's talk about fixing it.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for tonight.
You're welcome. So again, everyone, I'm going to skedaddle. If you're interested in finding out more about the program, you can click the link in my bio and we can schedule a call together. I have times open, I think, all the way through Sunday. If something doesn't fit, you can always DM me on Instagram or you can email me. I'll squeeze it in so we could talk about if the program is a good fit. The pricing is there in the link. So when you click the link, you'll see the price. If it's something that you can do, then great. If it's something you can't do, then you wait it out until you can. And I do offer financing and installment plans. So something for you to consider. I want you guys to have a good night. Get off of Instagram if you need to. Delete Instagram off your phone, deactivate, not like deactivate, but you know what I'm saying? Like, get some Netflix or something that's unromantic. Do not allow the pressures to overwhelm you. Do not allow exes to get back into that phone. You have a new focus. We've talked about what your next steps are going to be, and you're going to take it either with me or without me. All right, folks, I want you to have an amazing night, and I will talk to you guys on Wednesday for live Q&A.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.